5 developers make a video game, but no communication between them is allowed. We're the Blackthorn brothers, and this is the Pass the Game Challenge. The most insane projects come out from these, from horror games and superheroes to card games and fantasy adventures. But sometimes all hell breaks loose and we end up with crazy bugs, massive misunderstandings, and dancing penguins. So the question is, what will we make this time around? And to kickstart this brand new 2025 season, we're going to try the challenge using the Unreal Engine. So without further ado guys, let's get started with developer number 1.
What's up guys, I'm Stopshut, and I guess I'm the first developer to start off this challenge. We're making a horror game, which is good because I made plenty of those in the past. I started out by firing up Unreal and modifying the start level a bit. Because I'm the first developer, I won't bother with level design and I'll just focus on the basic mechanics. Now this is supposed to be a horror game, and a lot of horror games have some kind of puzzle to solve. So I thought of a completely new mechanic where you place cubes on buttons, which hasn't been done before in any game whatsoever. So I created a simple button blueprint and made 6 different color variations of it. Then I did the same thing with 6 different cubes. The gameplay is pretty simple. Place the cubes on the corresponding buttons. In most horror games, there's usually some kind of monster chasing you as you try to complete a task. So for this, I went to one of my other games, Propeller Pete, and migrated Propeller Pete's animations and blueprint to this project. His AI is already made, so that saved me a ton of work. Basically, he just walks to a random point in the map, and when he gets there, he picks another random point and repeats. When he detects the player, he'll start chasing you. Pretty simple AI, but when you have to correctly place the cubes while he's chasing you, it's somewhat entertaining to play. Once all the cubes are on the buttons, this exit door will open. It just leads to an empty room for now, but hopefully the next dev can add on to it. Now the prototype is pretty much done, and it's kinda horrifying. Okay, maybe not that horrifying. Hopefully another dev will change the Propeller Pete model to something a little more scary. But the base gameplay is there, and I'm interested in seeing what the other devs can expand on from this. If you like my section here, I make other horror games like this on my own channel, and I'm also developing my game Till, a Portal-inspired puzzle game which you can wishlist and play the demo on Steam. Anyways, that's it for me, and I'm excited to see what the other devs can make from this.
Now, if you also want to make video games or learn how to draw or code, then you should definitely check out the sponsor of this video, Skillshare. This is an incredible online learning platform that can help you take your career, skills, hobbies, and passions to the next level. For example, you could check out this series on pixel art mastery, where you'll learn how to make awesome pixel art style game characters and animations. You could also follow this Unreal Engine learning path, understanding the basics and then moving on to more complex topics such as lighting or how to make a survivor FPS game. Learning paths help focus your journey by deepening your skill set with a set of curated classes that build on one another, reinforcing lessons. Recently, we wanted to learn more about game design, so we got to learn a lot from this awesome course on the psychology of puzzle solving. You can get started with Skillshare today using the link in the description, and the first 500 people to use it will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Alright, without further ado guys, let's move on to the next developer.
Yo, I'm Haez. I make videos sometimes, and I create assets for Unreal Engine on my Gumroad shop. So I opened the project to 12 gigabytes of marketplace assets, but they were never used in the project, so I removed them so it would help with the file size. And there was also a plane that follows you around like a crackhead, so I thought it'd be funny if I actually made him one. He's got some basic AI behavior, chases if he notices you, kicks you if you're in range, and he'll start tweaking if he loses you. And then also you can get stunned by bricks so you can chuck at him. For the cubes that you were trying to grab while being chased, these are now shopping carts. You need to bring these back to the store you work for. I also added these cars that speed back and forth the street, so the player just has a little bit of an extra challenge. I did this early on in the project, but I made sure to do some set dressing for the vibe, and then added a simple main menu to top it off, and that's all the time I had left to do stuff.
Hello, I'm MrKnowBody and I make games sometimes. Well, at least I try to. So yeah, I downloaded the project and it's called Crack Cards. I am very curious to see what this is. So after some playtesting and a lot of dying, all the carts in there, I finally realized there is no game loop. Like, there is no objective to this game at all. So I figured maybe that's what I should do. So here's my idea. You have to fill the cart with a certain item with this guy chasing you, and once you fill it with the right items, you bring it across the road and you put it in the right place. I don't know, you have to deliver like 4 or 5 carts with the right items in them. That explanation was dreadful, but we're going to roll with it. So for the items in the alley, I thought it was quite fitting to have bags of certain substances. And for that, I stole a bag from Sketchfab and painted some logos on them. Definitely no meaning behind them. And then I made 2 other variations. I then added some functionality so you could actually pick the bags up. And I pretty much just stole all the logic from the rock that already existed, with the slight twist that you can now detect if it hits a shopping cart or not. Then whatever you throw into the shopping cart will be placed into an array and displayed in the cart with a max of 3 items. Right, so now for the actual collection zones. I made this that will randomly generate 3 items that the collection zone wants. And then when it detects a shopping cart, it will then check if the items match and the order doesn't matter. The outline then goes green if it does and red if it doesn't. And now you might be wondering what happens when all 4 go green. Nothing. Yeah, sorry to disappoint, but I didn't get that far. That is now the next dev's problem. Thank you and goodbye.
Well, hello there. My name is Chewy, QuestDev, Casey. I go by a bunch of different names online. I'm currently a solo dev working on an action-adventure RPG looter shooter, and I'm a pretty big rookie when it comes to Unreal Engine, so I hope I don't let y'all down. I received the project, cool art style, a lot of features that actually didn't really tie together to make a game, so that was my goal for my session. There was a few things that I didn't really need to do, like the functionality for randomizing bags was actually in the game, it just wasn't implemented, so I just implemented it. Very simple. And the turn-in functionality was also fully implemented. There just wasn't any score system. I figured since it's a game, it makes sense to put a score system in.
Nice.
So now whenever you collect the various chemicals and put them in the cart, take them across the street and send them into the collection zone. If it is the correct one, you will get some points. And to add a little bit of difficulty to it, I made it so points will now reset on player death. I then spent way more time than I like to admit making my own health component blueprint before realizing that I could just use the one that, was already made before I started. So I scrapped the one that I added, fixed up the one that was already in to make it work with the systems that I had created, and it was working as expected, except for the AI. I definitely struggled with that for a minute. And unrelated to what I was working on, while I was looking through the files, I just randomly found this thriller dance animation. I thought that was pretty funny. And if we were going to be bonking crackheads in the head with bricks, I figured maybe we should have a sound effect for it, and got that implemented with my high-tech audio engineering software. And sticking with the theme of gamifying the project, I decided to add some randomization, this time to the bags, to make sure that the player couldn't just rush down preset locations. They had to actually look for them. And then I also extended this to on turn-in, so whenever the player would turn in a cart, it would randomize the bags across the street. Again, that way they couldn't just remember where they were and just rush back to get them. And full disclosure, I broke the score system on turn-in, and I never fixed it, so good luck to the next dev. But one thing I fixed was the flow of traffic, because for some reason it was set in the upside down British version. Now cars go in the correct direction. And as is tradition on this channel, I figured it was time for me to add a feature, because everybody has to add some features to make it more complicated, right? So I downloaded a free coin mesh, got it into Unreal Engine, tweaked a couple of the graphics stuff to make it fit a little bit better with the theme. I then set them up to be collected when you run into them to give you points, healing, speed, various different buffs. Following my trend, set them up on a spawner to add a little bit of randomness, and then for my final trick, I added a leaderboard. This goes alongside the difficulty that I added, which basically allows you to select a timer. So now you can load in, name your character, pick your difficulty, and get your score on the board. And boy, I had a lot more fun on this project than I thought I would. If you want to check out my action adventure RPG looter shooter, Shadows of Moorhaven, it is available for wishlisting on Steam right now.
I'm the last dev working on this, so no pressure. I have a plan to redeem myself. After an embarrassing loss last time, I had to go back 2 features ago, and all of us were getting absolutely cooked in the comments. Okay, maybe not all of us, for not polishing the game, which resulted in a crazy game packed with ideas that weren't fleshed out. So my objective was clear: fully flesh out the current game loop, polish up original ideas, and don't add stupid troll. Don't troll. After playtesting, this is what I've gathered. This is Hood Alley, where all the scary pharmacy customers live. They have stolen all shopping carts. You can get coins to get powers, and you have to take specific bags into a specific area. Once the timer's out, game over. I first wanted to focus on the visual aspect of the gameplay, so I added lights to cars and some light poles, which gives the world a more lively look. It's also super useful when I need a light. Next, I shifted my attention towards the store, since the alley was a dense area, and this was plain. First, I just did the obvious. How could no one think of this? I expanded the area by 2.5 by placing virtual asphalt and tons of cars and light poles to resemble a parking lot, which brought us to our first problem. Where will we put these glowing collection zones? Luckily, I've been to a store before and thought, you just have to put the cars back, which gave me the idea to update the cart collector to look like the real life ones, just to fit the theme a bit better. Now, on the gameplay side, I moved the coins to the parking lot to give the player an incentive to explore this area. I also left one shopping cart there, just one, guarded by a whole bunch of pharmacy users in their little fort, but it was missing something. Can't even see the sign, which gave me the idea to create a custom one, and I thought of neon lights since I needed something to pop out, and I still can't see across the street, so I made this tiny sign at the entrance. Now here, I thought I was done, until my brother's friend saw me working on this and asked if I was gonna make the cars different colors. Fine. Alright, here are some of the final shots I took of the finished and polished game. Anyway, I'm Skyline, I redeemed myself. If you liked my segment, I'm currently working on an open world game called Dawn. If you want to check out my progress and cool stuff, my link is probably in the description. If not, I'll always be saying something stupid in the comments.
Interesting.
There's a lot more fog than when I passed it off. At least I think there might be.
This looks way different. Can I pick up stuff like I could? This is, what the? Oh shoot. Is this a horror game?
It is surprisingly polished. It's got like that retro. I don't like the fog though, man. So this is like way bigger than it was when I had it. Let's see. Can I get an angle on this thing? Can't see what that top one is. I think it's grass, crystal, grass.
Originally, I thought it was going to be a, what do you call that, a rage game? Because I was intentionally making it a bit hard. Like the enemy would one-hit you, cars would one-hit you.
I'm the one that took that out, so I apologize.
Oh, it's fine. I thought it was going to be like a timed rage game.
Oh shoot. I'm not sure what the objective to this is. Oh, I'm so dumb. There's instructions right here.
I didn't really touch anything other than like I wanted to tie it all together to make it all function as a game.
That's one of the hardest things to do because there is a temptation to just add new things, add your own spin.
Yeah, I watched the 100 game devs.
Yeah, I'd make it like a speedrunning game, make it fast paced, clean up that fog, and I'd probably even add a jump, maybe.
I think this game has good potential to be speedrun based. Definitely make it more snappy.
I think whoever went after me changed it so you run like noticeably slower and your acceleration is really, really low. Not necessarily a huge fan about that, especially with the crackheads chasing you, but you know, I think you could argue that it adds to the difficulty of it.
I think I would make it a bit simpler. Just one main goal instead of the changing, like, I don't know, a good way to call what was in the game. The things you had to pick up.
Chemicals that needed to be collected.
Yeah, the chemicals.
This is undoubtedly one of the games of all time. Hey, yo. Ah! Oh. Whoever added the cardboard boxes, I was like, man, I want to do something with this, but I just like don't feel like I have it. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of potential with that, especially with the physics of it and stuff like that. But
like you find stuff underneath them.
Yeah, maybe either that or like you could just like pick them up and use them to stack them to add some verticality to the game, something like that.
It's very interesting. I can see how what I made kind of went into it a little bit with the AI and the picking up stuff and placing them on the right spots. The theme is a little bit in an interesting direction, but I think it has potential.
I do think that it's pretty well made overall. I mean, considering the fact that, you know, there's a few weeks worth of dev put into it. If somebody wanted to actually make this into a viable product, I don't see why it couldn't be.
Crazy new videos are in the making, from fierce game dev competitions, a brand new series called Horrified, and insane twists on the Pass the Game challenge. So don't forget to subscribe and like the video so you don't miss any of it. Alright, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Cheers.